nice early morning bass fishing session the other day. Got me thinking about all those things I do bass fishing that need improvement, or things that I keep forgetting. So I've got a list of 10 things that have been on my mind after this recent trip. And although you can catch bass on lures during night time, that first light seems to be really good. And I've had a couple of sessions this week, and what I've noticed first thing in the morning is that that first light is really good for the catch rate. Well, first one of the day, nice little schoolie. GoPro didn't work again. Yeah, although it was a nice schooling. You see there, I've still got the 3 treble hooks, barbless, so I've crinked the barb on those, but I've really got to get myself some singles here, because it can do harm to the fish. I've pretty much got away with it. I keep saying it, but I will get some single hooks. A lot better for fish care, really. Just to remind myself, really, it's worth getting wet. You can fish round obstacles, you can land the fish better if you're up to your knees, even up to your chest. In these conditions, it's safe just to step out on the shingle there. You can see there's a reef of rocks that I'm playing this fish over, and it's worth, you know, just get yourself into there and don't be so obsessed with trying to be dry all the time. Slightly longer lure rod helps actually today. Another lure caught bass on the last treble there. Probably about 40 centimetres those, a bit small. I'll put that one back. But the same goes for the clothing, and when you're releasing the fish, I'm realising that I need to be up to my knees to release the fish really, rather than try and stay on the shingle or the rocks. So next time I'll get in a bit lower, trying to release that. So I've found that the best compromise for size of fluorocarbon with the braid, fluorocarbon as a leader, is £16. It's a good compromise because they won't see it in the clearer water as well. £20 is a little bit stiff, and I wonder whether the big fish will notice it in the water. Okay, in those conditions, but these ones here, it's been really clear. This is actually from a vlog we've got coming up, but that £16 fluoro I think is the way to go. Really quite nice. £20 is a bit too stiff. So this, what we're looking at here, is footage of a mackerel hitting the lure. You can see the initial hit is quite quick. With a mackerel it's sort of tired out almost by the time it hits the beach, but with a bass really need to play it right to the end. So this fish here has been worn out a bit. Clumsy video, but it'll still do that final shake when it comes out of the water. You've got to be careful there. Obviously net it would be ideal. Stay low, those fish can still see you even in conditions like this, which is not perfectly clear. I'm seeing fish come up to the tip today and turn away when they see how close I am, or the flashing of the rod or the line coming off the rod. So the fish can always see the lure in more coloured conditions. I could hardly see probably about 2 foot of viz in this, but there were fish still taking the lure, so don't just give up if you think that it's too murky or dirty. It does clear up as well at various states of the tide. Might be worth hanging around. J13s are a little bit harder to cast, they're a little bit clunky. I'm using it here because there's sort of big boulders and I want to retrieve quite quickly past the boulders, but let it float up if it looks like it's going to snag. Another thing I learned is stick with the same lure. If you're catching the fish on a particular lure, stay with it, even if there's a little bit of a lull in the fishing, because fish will come on and off the feed, and once you've got one on a lure, you know that it's something they'll take. And if you're not catching, it's probably down to the condition of the tide or something else. That's what I'm thinking anyway. I keep saying it, but travelling light, I take too much stuff even now. I appreciate I've got to film as well, so I've got all the camera gear, but I'm finding that travelling light's really good because you can just flick the lure out as you go. The only thing you're going to have in the other hand is, say, the net, But if you can take the lures on and off either a rucksack or a side pouch, bum bags are quite good actually. Yeah, certainly travelling light, I keep getting reminded of that. And then the other thing, well, there's loads of things really I've noticed from the sessions this week. Those polarised sunglasses that I will never forget again. No, I probably will forget them. Taking 2 of every lure as well. Obviously if you're getting a lot of hits on a good lure and then you lose it, you need something very similar or the same lure. It'd be very frustrating not to have 2 of the same. I've depleted my lure collection recently, and I think that, yeah, I need to get 2 of everything just in case. Also, I've been playing around with stopping the lure. That gives, there's a couple of things. It may actually entice a take from a fish that's following, but also you can get a good idea of what the wave, the tidal movements and the current are doing to the lure. Which direction is it moving in when it's on the surface? And then I keep reminding myself to cast up tide as well. That's naturally how the fish will see their bait, and prey will be coming down tide. And thank you very much for all the comments we've been having on the videos. I really appreciate that. We can all sort of learn together. And on last Friday's video, had some interesting comments about the whiting that we were catching. I was a little bit negative about them, but Fishing Bug's got his own YouTube channel. Do check that out. Mentioned that he might be trying for the whiting on float, and I've never really thought about that. So thanks Fishing Bug, that might be something to do. And then Damien Owens as well, regular contributor to the site, suggesting that we should try LRF for the whiting, which is another good idea. So thanks very much for all your comments on there. And then if you want to comment on this video, is there anything that you've learnt this season on your bassing? Are the things that you keep having to remind yourself of? Perhaps share it with everyone else as well, and we can all learn together, try and get a little bit better at this lure fishing for bass game. Thanks very much for watching. Should be another video out on Friday, and also if you haven't seen it, John over at the Fish Locker YouTube channel has caught 2 massive tuna down in Cornwall, and that's really worth a watch. Some of the fishing in this country now is becoming incredible. I would have dreamed of that just a few years ago. 2 huge great tuna. So yeah, check John out on the Fish Locker, and please comment on this video if you want. So that's it really, just a quick one today. We got our full length one out as well on Friday. That's on a new, that's a review of the new favourite lure rod. Thanks very much for watching. Have you learnt anything this season on the bass, or is there something that you think people could be reminded of just to improve our angling? I'd love to know.